Recording in.
Hi guys, just Paul Growney from Caring Connections. Just an update with the newsletter. Firstly, as ever, just want to say a massive thank you to everyone out there on the front line doing some fantastic work. The amount of care now we're delivering as a charity is immense. We're close to 18,000 hours per month of social care to nearly over 500 people every single day. So we're doing a massive amount of work. So thank you to each and every one of you going out there. I mean, it's a tough job. We know it's a very tough job. We're dealing in some very difficult situations in often very challenged areas. So as always, just a massive thank you to all of you out there on the front line. As always, I want to just say a few shout outs. Some people in the past week that have been highlighted either by service user comments or staff giving some really good feedback. So just a few names that have been sent over. So Shelley Patton, Rhiannon Brown, Ryan Catterall, Brian Gilhooly, Zainab Adagoki, and Mary Elabayu. All fantastic feedback from each of your branches. And a special shout out for Darren Westwood. And we recently did a service user feedback in Warrington with the service users, and some of the feedback that Darren got was some of the best I've ever heard in all my time at Caring Connections. So thank you, Darren, for all your work. And you may have noticed employees of the month, it's been a little bit scattergun across the branches. So we're going to be relaunching that and making sure that every branch has an employee of the month every month now going forward. We did have a really good scheme, but it seemed to just fall by the wayside of some of the issues we were having. But that is going to be reintroduced this month. So, get ready for that. And I also want to say a massive thank you in regards to the ECM, the electronic call monitoring. People have done excellently on this. And I know it's not nice when things are affecting pay. And it can be quite confusing. And I know I myself, it's been a bit of a minefield trying to get used to it. And especially as different local authorities want different things. I mean, in a perfect world, every local authority would pay the same and work in the same way, but it's not the way it is, unfortunately. But I just like to say people's ECMs have greatly improved. Just making sure you're logging in at the start of your call and logging out at the end of your call. Okay. Again, fantastic work and fantastic improvements. From doing a brief analysis this morning, I can just see the massive difference that's been made just within a month. And it's important. And even if your branch isn't currently doing the incremental pay or the minute by minute, please act as if they do, because this could come in at any time. And it is really important, and it can massively affect your pay if it isn't done right. Okay. And most importantly, it's about ensuring we're giving the quality of care to our service users in the time that they need. But as always, we know there's people who may not need the time, asking you to go. So, it is difficult. So in these cases, we want you to be reporting back, come back to the office and say the course needs reducing, and then we can look at other calls to maybe replace that time if possible. Because we know there's a lot of calls, and I know from just reading the notes, and again, I can see the notes have really improved, but a lot of people get dismissed early and things like that. And again, it's nothing you can do about that. Just let the office know, and we'll always look to see if we can get calls reduced where appropriate. Okay. Service user socials, want to be a shout out to Ellie, Jess, and Till, who ran our service user social in Warrington. That went really well. So that's going to be a monthly event. And we've got Rebecca over in Wigan, who's now coordinated our Wigan staff service user social, which is going to be going on very soon. So every branch has got one going on now. But if anyone has any ideas where we can further engage service users, do events or anything like that, just let us know, because we're always open. Again, as a charity, we're always looking at what we can do above and beyond the actual care service themselves. Next, training. So again, Julie's registering people this week with the apprenticeship programs with our provider Ensis, and this is being level 2, level 3, level 5 qualifications. Again, this based on where people are within the organisation and the job role that they're doing. I think people sometimes get hung up on levels, but it isn't something to get hung up about. It's just really what job you're doing within the organisation, which will dictate the level that you're doing. In terms of apprenticeships, there are restrictions. You do have to be working a minimum of a certain amount of hours. You do have to have been in the country for a certain number of years to be eligible to receive the apprenticeship funding. So there is a few, hoops you have to jump through in order to be registered. In terms of the apprenticeships, Christina Torres recently passed hers with flying colours and a distinction. So well done, Christina. And if Christina Torres can do an apprenticeship with the amount of hours Christina does for the organisation, anyone can do one. So, don't let it put you off if you're working long hours. It is a really good thing. And then you can move through the organisation. And on that note, I'd like to do a shout out for Paula Charnock. Paula Charnock started in a recruitment role last year, worked as a care coordinator, and is now actually working in the position of an interim manager at our Warrington branch and completing a level 5 qualification. Again, someone who's moved through the organisation, which we like to encourage to everyone. At times the opportunities aren't there, but we'll always keep you there for when there are, because they always come up. There's always new opportunities. There's always going to be potential new branches and areas. So, like you see in all of our management roles now, the people who've actually come through the organisation, and that's how we like to do it. We like to build people with our culture, our values, and our ways of working to get through. Again, lastly, well-being. So, as we always say, your well-being is vital to us. And I know sometimes people may not think we do, but it is. We know the job's hard. We know it's difficult when people are going off sick and people being asked to cover and people are doing lots of hours. It's tough, and on your well-being, it's a stretch. But please make sure that you utilise our well-being services. And this is the line where you get access to the 24/7 GP appointments. You got the mental health support, the access to counselling. We are paying for this service for you, and so you can get support. So please make sure you use it, because it's there and it's open to you. And on this note, WageStream. So WageStream is something we've introduced last year, and I'm not sure quite of the benefits that we or you have received from it. So we are in the process of making a review whether we are going to continue with that service and look at investing the money we've invested in that into other wellbeing programs for you guys. Because I know a lot of people now are not reliant on it for a period. A number of people become reliant on it. And what we want is things that promote well-being, not things that make people dependent on it. So we are going to be reviewing WageStream. But again, the money that we spend on that is not going to be some saving that we make. It's going to be looking at invested in something else. We are looking at some other schemes at the moment, which I think may be more beneficial to you out there on the front line. But again, that's it for this week, guys. But a massive thank you to each and every one of you and all the work you do. Keep it up.